Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm here to speak about the classic fireman's novel, Fahrenheit 451, written by Bradbury. This novel is set in a dystopian future in which literature and individual thoughts are banned. The story follows a man named Guy Montag, who is this society's everyday fireman. However, instead of putting out fires, firemen in this world actually start fires to burn any and all books that are found. Montag eventually comes to realize the importance of books, and he begins his journey of rebellion against the system. Now that's enough summary. Let's get straight into the analysis. What constitutes as happiness? Well, I can't answer that question for you because happiness is subjective. However, I can tell you that in our modern-day society, we're allowed to think for ourselves. We're allowed to make our own conclusions about what happiness means to us. But do you know what wouldn't make us very happy? If someone told us what happiness meant. That's what Fahrenheit 451 is all about, the censorship of individual thought in order to control society. We're going to analyze a few concepts within the world of Fahrenheit 451 that explain why both knowledge and freedom of speech are essential to happiness in a functioning society. First things first, we're going to take a look at the concept of curiosity. Curiosity plays a critical role in explaining the importance of freedom of speech. In the society of Fahrenheit 451, curiosity is looked down upon because the government wants to keep everyone thinking the same perspective. Our protagonist Montag here was inspired to embrace his inner curiosity when he met the bright and inquisitive Clarice McClellan. Clarice made Montag question the consequences of his career as a fireman because she made the very valid point of why not. Why wouldn't you want to question the meaning behind your entire career? It was Clarice's infectious curiosity that even got through to Montag, a man whose job basically promotes censorship and ignorance. This goes to show that every person possesses the natural characteristic of curiosity, and that it only needs to be awakened by some trigger event or person. So why is this so important? Well, curiosity is the first step in figuring out the truth in something. If a person questions the norms in the society of Fahrenheit 451, they'll eventually realize that there's more than one perspective that can be had, and that the version of happiness that they've been fed all along actually was false. The truth is another concept that, much like curiosity, is hidden within all individuals, but this reality fails to be understood by the society portrayed in Fahrenheit 451. After Montag's curiosity takes over, he realizes that he's unsatisfied with his life, even though he supposedly has everything he needs to make him happy. Montag sets out to find the truth as he knows at this point that something is being kept away from him achieving it. Individuals in the society have never had the desire to seek the quote-unquote truth because everyone already assumes that they're happy, or they haven't really given much thought to what happiness truly means to them. When Montag discovers happiness through the value of books, his sense of morale drives him to find more people to tell about his amazing find in the hopes that they will find happiness as well. The truth is important because it gives citizens the knowledge to make informed decisions and lead the paths that they want for themselves, therefore finding true happiness. If it's one aspect of the novel that you're absolutely unable to miss, it's the brainwashed citizens that are under complete control by the government. Individuals that result in this society are people that are cold, selfish, greedy, and act like mindless drones for the government. An example can be seen when the paramedics come to save Mildred from her overdose. The two men both show a great deal of disrespect to Montag by smoking and making jokes about death while the machine is operating on Mildred. The men are not concerned for the human life that they're responsible for. They only care about the money that they're going to earn for their services. People have become stone cold to others, most likely due to the lack in care that the system provided when they were in school. They just don't know any better. If the citizens are familiar with only one seemingly foolproof method to live life, they're less likely to step out of line to risk fixing things that they don't think are broken. Abdul Hossein Judaki notes in his academic review on surveillance in Fahrenheit 451 that individuals, quote, actively participate in the surveillance and enforcement of those laws. They passively and unquestioningly accept what the system considers right behavior and action, end quote. The government has taught the society that books have nothing but trouble to offer the world. Rejecting literature is supposedly what keeps conflict away and everyone safe. Naturally, citizens of Fahrenheit 451 are inclined to do what's quote-unquote right in their minds, even though they're unaware that they're contributing to their own oppression by doing so. There's more than a single hero in Fahrenheit 451. In fact, all the people that see the importance in knowledge also possess a strong passion to keep literature alive. It's the raw spirit of what these people believe in is right that triumphs over government control. People can be seen going to great extents for their belief in literature. Take, for example, the intellectuals that are far away from society. These people choose to segregate themselves from society because their passion broke out and they decided to take action and break the law. As a result, they had to flee from the authorities, just like Montague's situation. Intellectuals are not only separated from the cities because they're enemies of the state, but because they would rather express their voice with others and play a role in preserving literature rather than living in a technological wonderland where people's thoughts are oppressed, even if the living conditions outside society are, well, less than optimal. A key symbol within Fahrenheit 451 is most definitely the idea of fire. In his academic journal review of Fahrenheit 451, Benjamin S. Lawson notes, quote, "Not only does the novel famously describe the destructive burning of books, it also describes the warming campfire of the book people, the conflagration of nuclear war, and the affirming flame of Clarice and altruistic individualism." End quote. In an alternate sense, fire in Fahrenheit 451 can be seen as the kind of motivation or attitude that everyone has, much like curiosity as discussed before. Let's look at Montague's fire. At first, he represented destruction. He used fire to destroy literature and promote censorship. However, over time, Montague came to realize that what he was doing was wrong, and he decided to dedicate himself to preserving books with the intellectuals away from society. By this point, Montague has changed his fire to be one that is hopeful and gives off light and warmth. It's one that believes in the power of knowledge and freedom of speech. At the end of the novel, the conflagration of nuclear war, as Lawson states, is actually both. It's the destruction of the society, but the fire now also contains a new hope, as Montague and Granger's crew march towards the city in the hopes of restoring society once again. Last but certainly not least, we're going to talk about how the government is the heart of this society's problems. The government manipulates the society's ideals and beliefs exactly the way they want to, and this has led to all the actions and problems that I spoke about earlier. Point 1. The government in Fahrenheit 451 is in a state of turmoil. They're hated by other countries and are on the breach of another war. An infuriated Montague explains his true thoughts and feelings when he says, quote, "We've started and won 2 atomic wars since 1960. Is it because we're having so much fun at home we've forgotten the world? Is it because we're so rich and the rest of the world is so poor that we just don't care if they are? I've heard rumors. The world is starving, but we're well fed. Is it true? The world works hard and we play? Is that why we're hated so much?" End quote. Montague explains that the government is in such a mess as a result of the ideologies that they possess. The same ideologies seen within the citizens of Fahrenheit 451 are the exact same ones as the government, because the government taught them those ideologies in the first place. It's safe to say being cold, selfish, and greedy on a global scale does not end well for anyone. The government does not obtain resources through fair trade, but with violence and complete disregard for human lives. The government does not care for the state of other countries. The government only cares about its own citizens. Of course, you can't blame the citizens within the country because they're only aware of the results of such immoral ways. While all of this is happening, the people of the society live their lives in luxury and a false sense of happiness, achieved through the unknown suffering of other countries. But what if the people find out that the country struggles to be on good terms with others? Most likely, they'd rebel against the government so that a better system can take its place. So what's the government's way of dealing with this problem? Yes, that's right, through control and manipulation. Point 2. The government bans books and free speech in order to keep its citizens ignorant, thereby preventing conflict. The government feeds the public the one perspective that makes them seem superior over everything and everyone. When Montague escapes society, the publicly televised search party finds a scapegoat to take out instead of the real fugitive. The government does this because they want to end the show with the audience still convinced that their system is the most reliable, ideal, and foolproof one that there is, that the defenses of the government are impenetrable. Doing so controls the citizens and to some instills a sense of fear. Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451 is a message for anyone and everyone in the world. It is a reminder of how important individual speech is to a properly functioning society, and how happiness is really in our own hands. Perhaps one day, all countries will understand this tremendously significant concept, as we know just how bad things can get otherwise. Thank you for listening.